What's up guys, today of course I'm going to be discussing hardcore mode in Battlefield 1. It was recently reintroduced as part of the fall patch and the introduction of Battlefest as of November 16th. And several changes of this mode have been brought to the Battlefield 1 version as opposed to previous iterations of Battlefield in the past. I'll discuss those changes and what you should expect when you jump into this certainly controversial mode, with some people believe it's the only way to play Battlefield and others believing that this mode should be wiped off the face of the earth. First off, I'll discuss how it was in Battlefield 4 to give you a comparison. So the settings were essentially the same with a few big differences. Compared to core mode, you usually had 50 to 60% of normal health and you had no health regeneration. Very limited, if any, minimap at all, but you could at least pull up the larger map. No ammo counter, no crosshair, very limited HUD, and friendly fire always on. In comparison, here's the official Battlefield 1 hardcore mode settings. Elite classes have been turned off. Minimap spotting, off. It does give you a compass rose, so at least you know how to navigate around now. Name tags, both enemy and friendly, unless you aim directly at... It's completely off for the enemy. If you aim directly at a friendly, it will turn on, but basically it's off until you aim at a friendly target. Your HUD, very limited, if anything. 3D spotting, off. Kill cams, off. Health regeneration and third vehicle mode usage, all off. Many of these changes, as I suggested, have always been there, but the biggest difference, of course, between Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1's hardcore mode is that there's no 50% health anymore. It's now that weapons do 200 or double damage. With higher damage weapons, especially as snipers and medic rifles in this game, because they're very unforgiving, a lot of the shots on the medic rifles now, you'll have to be extremely careful when traversing around the map, as if it already wasn't a concern when you played in any FPS, especially hardcore mode in Battlefield. Now it's doubly so. Additionally, the lack of name tags for both teammates, unless you aim at them, and enemies will make you think twice about shooting, or in my experiences in a lot of times, the enemy or teammates don't really care and they shoot at you anyway immediately, as I'm pretty sure in my small sample size of about 4 or 5 games of hardcore mode, I've been killed more by teammates than the enemy. Especially this is doubly so if you encounter a player and you're not really sure if it's friendly or an enemy. A lot of people just shoot immediately. This is a significant change, and one I'm sure that either the community will have to really get used to, and the more players play, the more players stick with hardcore. I imagine the amount of and frequency of team killing will plummet, or in my case, a lot of the time, you'll just completely abandon the mode. Conceivably, some community custom servers will have the options to put friendly name tags back on at full time, and I believe that will be a big source of alleviation to a lot of the team killing. So, here's some tips I've seen for hardcore mode that gave me some success in the smaller sample size. You have to get used to playing a much more deliberate, much more tactical and methodical playstyle if you want to get kills and you want to actually survive. Covers paramount in every scenario of any FPS game you're ever going to play the rest of your life, but it's doubly so in hardcore mode because, believe it or not, your teammates are now a hazard as well. Being in the open for extended times is certain death, and again, not just by the enemy, it could also be by a teammate that mistakes you for an enemy. With the game and the mode being brand new, expect to be team killed often. To me, this is a big deal breaker and why I'm not a huge fan of the mode, but if you can get used to the frustration and the fact that this is going to happen even if you're a veteran, and well, with the game being new and hardcore mode being new, it's going to be rampant. But if you can get used to team killing and the people that stick with hardcore become a lot more accustomed to not killing each other, then it won't be a big problem for you into the future. Get used to your team's uniform and, by contrast, your enemy's uniform for obvious reasons. With no auto-on name tags, uniform become the main distinguishing feature between teammate and enemy, so you have to get used to whether you're American and you're facing the Germans, etc. And this might actually become a little bit more complicated when we get more DLCs to come out, assuming they don't keep the exact same color scheme for 2 teams of like enemy versus friendly. Patience in target acquisition. As I've stated before, in core mode, you knew immediately whether to shoot at an enemy or keep moving. Not so much anymore. You have to use patience in determining your teammates from enemies, or you may end up getting kicked from the server for having far too many team kills, or in my case, if I accidentally kill a teammate, a lot of the time he'll just hunt me down the rest of the time anytime he sees me, so be wary of that. So, what are my thoughts of it overall? It's not for me. I do like classic mode from Battlefield 4, so if this returns into Battlefield 1, you can absolutely count on me playing that mode. But with the auto-off teammate name tags, unless you aim at a teammate, it's a nightmare for team kills in my experience. Maybe it's different for you, especially if you're a big fan of hardcore. There's also been moments where I take a stationary AA or some sort of map-specific weapon, and a teammate will kill me so he can use it. And if that's a conceivability in a game mode, you absolutely will not see me in it. Additionally, the many times where I play strategic, where I might kill an enemy, take cover, make sure I'm patient in my target acquisition, etc., what will happen is I'll kill 2 or 3 of the enemies, and then I'll get popped from 200 meters away by a sniper that's a teammate. So, and this happens quite a bit. It's not a small sample size. So for me, hardcore it's as it stands, hardcore mode's not for me. If it's for you and you like the no minimap, the no team kills, and the damage model, feel free to play it. Don't listen to anyone that's going to deter you from trying to play it. It's your mode, embrace it. For me, it's not for me. Please like if you enjoyed the video, share it if you feel somebody else would, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Have a good one, YouTube.